Well, hello everybody, it's Angie the Coder, and I'm coming to you yet again with a video from the series 2021 EM Changes. And as you remember, we have already had a video on the introduction. Last video was all about time, and today's video is going to be about prolonged services. So if you're following along, you probably know this already, but the source document that I'm using for this video is from the AMA. The link is on the screen in front of you and also in the description box below the video. So I do recommend that you download that, and you can use it to follow along with me, or it's just something that you're going to need in the future for these 2021 changes. So today, let's just jump right on into prolonged services. If you haven't seen the video that I did on time, you may want to go back and watch that one first, because this is going to tie into that just a little bit. And I do have a surprise for you. And the surprise is we got a new code for prolonged services. Code 99XXX was added, or will be added, for 2021. And this code is specifically for prolonged services. And let's tell you a little bit about it. Here's the actual excerpt from the guidelines. This is what it's going to look like in your code book. Looks like it is going to have the X's. They're not going to replace those X's with numbers, I don't think. I think they're actually going to use X's. But we'll see when the book comes out. We'll see if those X's will still be there, or if they're planning on putting some numbers in the place of those X's. But right now, this is how it looks. So the description says that this is prolonged office or other outpatient evaluation and management services beyond the total time of the primary procedure, which has been selected using total time, requiring total time with or without direct patient contact beyond the usual service on the date of the primary service, each 15 minutes. And it tells you in parentheses right there that you will only use these codes with EM codes 99205 and 99215. You will not use them with any other code. Now, if you watched the last video about time, I explained to you that time is different now for the EM services, the outpatient codes 99201 through 99215. No longer do you have to meet the criteria of counseling and coordination of care and have to, the provider doesn't have to document greater than 50% was spent in counseling and coordination of care and all that. That has gone away for those specific codes. Time will be decided based on actually how much time they document that they spent, and that time is not just face-to-face. It is time before the patient comes in, and it can be time after the patient leaves, but it has to be on the same date of service that the patient had their visit. So anything that has to do, and in the last video, that's why I recommend you go and look at the last video, I gave you a list of things that can be counted towards that time. For instance, the provider can actually count his time for reviewing the patient's chart before they come in. So we might get into some prolonged services situations, and this is how we're going to report that, by using this 99XXX code, and you will use it as an add-on code. If you'll notice, there's a plus sign right there in front of the code. So it has to be used in conjunction with 99205 or 99215. And you do not use this code in conjunction with 99354, 99355, 99358, 99359, 99415, or 99416. As a matter of fact, you're only going to use this code with 99205 and 99215. And you do not report 99XXX, the prolonged service code, for any time unit that is less than 15 minutes. So if you don't go 15 minutes above and beyond the code, the threshold code, say 99205 time, if you don't go 15 minutes over that, then you don't report prolonged services. Say you spent 14 minutes more than the threshold time for 99205, you would just report 99205. So let's talk about that. Let's see. Here we go. The timetable will help make this a little bit clearer. So The first set of, at the top of the table, the first set, those would be your new patient. So 99205. If you had a patient that you spent less than 75 minutes with, you would not report a prolonged services code with that. You would just report 99205. If you spent 75 to 89 minutes with the patient, then you could report 99205 plus 1 unit of 99XXX, and so forth. So if you spent 90 minutes to 104 minutes with a patient, you could bill 99205 times 1, and then your 99XXX times 2, and so forth. And the same is true if you look at your established patient codes, 99215 below. If you spend less than 55 minutes with the patient, then all you will bill is your 99215. But if you spend 55 to 69 minutes, you will bill 99215 times 1, and then 99XXX times 1, and so forth. I'm not going to bore you by reading all that, but there it is on the screen. So, another surprise for you. And that surprise is that the AMA table, if you look at this AMA timetable, they're being really generous here. And I'll tell you why they're being generous. If you look at the description for 99205, you'll see that the description is for 60 to 74 minutes of total time, right? But if you look at the table to bill 99205 plus 1 unit of the prolonged service code 99XXX, you only have to meet a threshold of 75 minutes. That's it, just 75 minutes. And 75 minutes is just 1 minute more than 74 minutes. What in the world, people? This is fantastic news, right? Doesn't this sound great? It's extremely generous of the AMA, because what they're doing is, instead of going with the higher number in the range for 99205, which would be 74 minutes, they're going with the lower number, which is 60 minutes, and they're adding 15 minutes to 60 minutes and coming up with 75 minutes, which is only 1 minute more than the 74 minutes that it's at the end. You know, it's just, it's amazing that they're doing this. They're also doing this, if you look at 99215, the same thing applies there. So it might take a minute for you for this to sink in, but it's pretty cool. Normally that's not how you would, it's just an unusual way to see them figure this. It's actually extraordinarily generous of them to let the provider start their time at the 60-minute mark. So it'd be 60 minutes plus 15 to get to your 75. Pretty impressive. But do we think that the CMS table is going to look like this? I would say that that's pretty doubtful. I would not bet the farm on it, and I'll show you why. Because they've actually published their table. They published this table that you see on this screen in their 2021, not the final rule, the CMS proposed rule. And I've got the link to that in the description for you as well, in the description below the video. If you want to go take a look at that document, as I think it's like 14 or 1500 pages long, but this timetable is in there. And as you can see, the AMA was a lot more generous. CMS, they're not playing. They're doing more like what we would expect. If you see right here, 99205, the range is 60 to 74 minutes, which it is in CPT as well. And if you see the range for 99205 plus 1 unit of 99XXX, so 1 unit of prolonged service, they start with 89 minutes. So you have to meet the threshold of 89 minutes to bill 99205 plus 1 unit of 99XXX. Okay, so as you can see, the AMA, their threshold starts at 75 minutes, whereas CMS's threshold starts at 89 minutes. I have a feeling that this is the way we're going to go. The AMA often is more physician-friendly, which absolutely makes perfect sense. but CMS is being more practical with their interpretation of this, and I have a feeling this is what we're going to end up with. And most payers are going to follow suit with CMS on this, probably. I don't know. Like I said, this is in the proposed rules. It's not in the final version. The final version will come out, I think it's November is when the final rule comes out. So be watching for me to do a video when the final rule comes out, and I'll let you know how it turns out. You can be looking for that too, like I said, because I'm going to give you the link to how to find that in the description below this video. But that's basically it in a nutshell. If you go back and watch the video that I did on time, you'll see what criteria physicians need to meet, or I'm sorry, providers, not just physicians, but you'll see what criteria they need to meet in order to bill based on time. It's really very good, because they get to count the stuff that they do to prepare to see the patient, like reviewing labs and reviewing the chart. They get to count time when they're maybe doing referrals and doing prescriptions and stuff like that. They get to count all that time as long as they document it, and as long as it's on the same date of service as the actual visit. If it's before the visit, like the day before, or if it's after the visit's happened, you can't count it. But if it's on the date of the visit, even though it's not face-to-face time, you can count these things that I've listed in detail on the last video, as well as the information is also in the source document. So if you want to go back and review the source document, you will see that. And I know I talk about that source document a lot, so what we're going to do is we're going to stop right now, and I'm going to take you out and show you that source document so that you can see what I'm talking about. So if you haven't actually gone out there and taken a peek at it, you'll get a little quick peek at what this AMA changes document looks like. Okay, so we're out here, and this is the what it looks like out on the link that I've given you. This document goes through, it tells you when these changes take effect, and it goes into explaining everything that I've been explaining in my videos is in here. And you'll get a sneak peek starting about page 9. You'll get a really cool sneak peek. Let's see if I can get down there, of what it's actually going to look like in your code book. Look at that. Isn't that cool? Look at that. Look at that. This looks like your 2021 code book. It's like Merry Christmas time. My little geeky brain just got so excited, and but here it is. You'll see what changes took place with the other prolonged services code. You'll see all about this 99XXX code I told you about today. You'll get a sneak peek of that chart that I put in there, the timetable. And just so, actually these are the timetables for some of the other prolonged services codes. If we keep going, there's your timetable that I have in the video. So you have a copy of it yourself. Once you print these guidelines up, you'll have your own copy of that timetable. It's really kind of cool just to take a look at what your code book is going to look like in 2021. I know it's September now, so it's just right around the corner, but I'm a little geek at heart. I get excited. It feels like Christmas for me when I get my new code book, so I've kind of gotten a little sneak peek behind the wrapping paper and the bows, and I have a little idea what the code book's going to look like in 2021. It's kind of exciting to me. I really hope this video has been helpful to you. If it has been, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing. Love to have you as a subscriber. If this is your first time coming to the Angie the Coder YouTube channel, sorry, I'm losing it today. Welcome. It's so good to have you. If you have been here before, welcome back. It's good to have you back. If you guys will hit the subscribe button and ring the bell, it will notify you whenever I upload a new video, which there should be another video coming up next Monday. Hopefully I'll have that video out right on time. And that video is going to be all about medical decision making. I've had some really great comments and emails from viewers, and one of the questions was, could you please do a video on medical decision making portion of the 2021 changes? And that is coming up in the absolute next video. I think you're going to find it really interesting. That video might be a little bit longer than the last few videos because it's going to take a little bit longer time to unpack the concepts there. It's not really hard, but there's a lot to unpack there. So be prepared. That video might be a little bit longer. I've also had some great suggestions. People asking me if I would please do some examples, and so I will reach into my little coder brain and try to pull out some made-up examples. After 26 years of coding, I'm sure I can dig something out of there, and we can do some kind of code as we go kind of example. So that may be in a video by itself. What we may do is I may do a video where it'll be where we pull it all together, and I put some examples on the screen and we walk through them. If you guys are interested in that, leave a comment in the comment box below. I'd love to hear from you. Speaking of hearing from you, I've really been enjoying your comments and I've been enjoying your emails. So guys, keep it up. Keep asking me questions and keep emailing me. I've been doing a lot of coding work lately, so I don't have as much time to answer questions as I would like, but I'm getting to them as fast as I can. So if you're waiting for an answer from me, hang in there. I'll get to you. One of the other suggestions, I've received several comments or emails, people questioning me about, could we please talk about how these changes are going to affect behavioral health providers. I am working on a video for that too. That will probably be one of the last videos I do in this series. I'm trying to get the information together. It is a little bit harder to find information on that, but I've already had 2 people request that, so it must be really in need. So I'm going to work really hard on that video and get that video out as well. So if you are working for a behavioral provider or you are a behavioral provider, I am working on that video as well. So hang in there, it's coming. I hope I get it to you in the next few weeks so you have plenty of times to prepare your providers for these changes. Like I said, email me at Angie. My email is Angie at angiethecoder.com. You can go check out my blog, and all of these links are also on my website, which is angiethecoder.com. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, and also LinkedIn. So reach out to me there. I'd love to be friends with you. And we'll see you next week when we discuss how medical decision making is going to change with the 2021 EM changes. Until then, you guys have a great week and code your little hearts out.